Hi, my name is Aliaa, and today we'll be sharing. I'll be sharing you about the presentation called "Designing with Purpose." Right. So the purpose of this presentation, to be frank, is to make sure that all your content, or maybe your project, or even your um, development, is acknowledged or understood by the users. So if you have the highest rank of technology and the greatest invention of the century, if people can't use it, then there's no actual purpose there, right? A little bit about myself. So my name is Aliaa. I'm pursuing a Bachelor of Computer Science, majoring in software engineering from the University of Malaya. I actively participate in tech events and even communities such as the App Club, the Google Developer Student Club, as well as the Ministry of Testing Kuala Lumpur. And I've participated over 10 hackathons and even organized 4, both locally and internationally. And I'm currently developing my final year project with the title Software Fault Prediction using machine learning based on software metrics. But today I will not be speaking about anything machine learning related, but more on how you can improve your product designing. Right. So this is the content outline. First, I'm going to highlight about the golden circle proposed by Simon Sinek. Second one is gonna be about one-liner. So how are you gonna tell your users how to use your product with a one-liner? And the third one is about user flow. And the fourth one, I'm gonna introduce you to something called the lean canvas. It's something what most businesses use to make sure that they have some revenue as well as some unique mechanism in terms of contributing to the society. And the fifth one is a little bit more, I would say, out of the topic, but I think it will be useful for you to have a pitch deck sample. All right. So the first things first, the golden circle proposed by Simon Sinek. Okay. So the golden circle highlights on the why part, and then it goes to the how, and then what. So most people, what they would do is highlight on the purpose of the product first, and then go into the process, which is the how, and then contributes to the what. So Simon Sinek proposed this golden circle with the example of Apple. So Apple believes in challenging the status quo of doing things differently. And what is the process? The process is our products are beautifully designed and easy to use. So what is the result? We make computers. So that is something that Apple stands by, and it shows how a strong brand has a purpose in terms of the product design. So that's why it stands out within the community as well as the society. Right. So moving on, a one-liner is how you tell someone about what you're doing or what the product is about. So this is a format. We, your group or project name, are developing something. So the users can do what? So this is an example that I created myself. So Apple created the MacBook Air, a powerful thin laptop. So the customers can bring it anywhere easily, because you know that laptops back then was very, very, I would say, heavy, and sometimes it would be slow as well. So by creating a thin and powerful laptop, sort of gives them unique, I would say, unique proposition to the customers. So that's why people are willing to pay premium price for their products. Okay, so the user flow. What is the goal, and how does the user, or what does the user have to do, as well as how many steps are involved for the users to achieve the goal? So this is something used by Airbnb. So you can, oh, okay. So you can see, okay, can't really see here, but I tried. Can I zoom in? Hold on. Never mind. Okay. So the first part here is where you see the, what's it called? The first homepage. This is where you browse for locations as well as clicking some items. Let's say London. And then in London, you can have several other items, such as maybe you want to go hiking, or maybe you want to go into like just accommodation and stuff like that. So they have 4 different user flows. So this is the main one where you attract people into clicking more in getting to know your products. And this is more detailed in terms of what they want to achieve, as well as what selections are available, and this is the actual details of the set product. Okay, so one of the users flows that you can use is by rapid prototyping, and you can do this with Figma or even Marvel. So both of these products, I would say, are open source, so it's easy to use, and it's easy to use as well as free, right? Okay, and moving on to the lean canvas. So the lean canvas is actually what most businesses use. It helps you to sort of align your problems as well as making it into details, what kind of other things that you want to achieve, and maybe what kind of things you might miss out on. So first here is called the problem. What are the top 3 problems faced by your customers? So you might want to highlight on the main criteria, such as, okay, let's use Apple for example. Computers are heavy, they are easily to be hacked, and maybe, how do I say this? They're not powerful enough. So that's the main 3 problems. That's why Apple decided to come up with the MacBook Air, and I would say market it that way. And then the solution is actually the direct, what's it called, direct solutions towards the 3 major problems. And alternatives is, what are the available options today that would solve these problems, and what are the key metrics that you can use in terms of targeting your audience. And unique value propositions is something that you can use in terms of, how do I say this? It's how you position yourself in the market. Like I mentioned in the golden circle previously, or the Oneliner, Apple created MacBook Air, a powerful thin laptop, so the customers can bring it anywhere easily. And there's some other stuff as well you can write. Maybe you can say securely, or more powerful, stuff like that. So next is called the unfair advantage. What can't you be copied? So Apple has a unique, I would say, software operating systems. So that is something not available anywhere because it's not open source. So that is the unfair advantage for other people that may not be able to copy if they want to. And what are the channels that what are your what are the channels for your customers to receive those solutions? And this is the segments in terms of who are your target audience, as well as who's going to be the early adopters, in which case Apple targets, let's say, developers or video editors, stuff like that. And this is the cost that is going to that the product needs to be, how do you say, this is the cost it takes to solve these problems. And what are the revenue streams? Where does the money come from? And you can also go in details. Maybe you can include what are the customer personas, which includes who are they, what are they like, what motivates them into purchasing your product or even your service. Second is called market validation. So with the lowest cost possible, how do you know your product, or service has potential in the current market? That one is called customer journey map. You can Google that, and then you can sort of understand how someone's thoughts or emotions go through when they're experiencing your services or products, and what are the opportunities for you to improve, as well as I would say have like sort of like add-on advantages. All right, so I'm going to go through the pitch deck sample. So the pitch deck sample is something you can use. It doesn't have to you don't have to absolutely copy everything. Just pick and choose whichever that applies best for you for your presentation. So the first one is obviously going to be the title page. So you're going to have your company name or product name or project name, depending on how you want to do this. And I would say list out your name and some details. I would perhaps be a company name if who's the lead in this. And obviously the maximum slide is going to be 1 because you don't want to overdo it. Okay, so problem opportunity slide. This is relating to the golden circle proposed by Simon Sinek. So this is when you state the why, list your problems, describe the pain that the users are experiencing, or maybe the pleasure you're providing. So what are the problems you're trying to solve? So this is when you list out your problem statements, but don't put it in a way that these are the problem statements. No, you have to tell a story. It's better to tell a story. The second one is to highlight the opportunity that you are tackling. So what are the motivations for these people that the problem is big enough for them to use your products or services? And if it's possible, try to quantify it and make it more relatable to them. That's why it's important for you to understand your target audience, who's going to use your products, and so on. Okay, second one is value proposition or solution. This is the how. Relating to the golden circle, again, proposed by Simon Sinek, this is the how. So you have to share with your customers or users how to use your product and how it can solve their problems. So summarize your solution with one line. Like I mentioned, what we did with Apple just now. Explain the value of pain you elevate and value that pleasures that you provide. So again, this is how you can emphasize on the gains or reduce their pains, or maybe even accomplish something that they are not able to. So this is again the how, and this is the what, product underlying magic. So this is when you show your product, or maybe if you have a prototype, that's better to show it in terms of demonstration and explain how it solves the problem. You have to walk through the user journey, and of course you need to maximize 3 slides, otherwise it's going to be too lengthy. And you can also describe the technology. What is your secret sauce? In secret sauce means what is different from whatever that is out there, and the magic behind your product. Again, the magic depends on the problems you're trying to solve and who are you targeting to use your products. Because even again, if you have the greatest invention of the century, but no one knows how to use it, then no one's going to use it. It's simple as that. Okay. Fifth one is market. This one is, I would say, a little bit out of the scope, but it helps you in terms of targeting your audience. So again, who are you targeting? So you can check out on how you can see who is your total addressable market, service available market, serviceable obtainable market. So these are 3 different terms, I would say, but overall it's just called market, and you can see how big or how small it is. All right. So next slide is about business or revenue model. So when it comes to business, obviously you need to make some profit, and you have to sort of curate yourself. Again, you can use this with a lean canvas, or if you find the traditional business model effective, you can use that as well. So this is when you try to plan or design your products in terms of how it can make profit and how it can help users to also solve their problems. Okay, so if you can quantify it, try to quantify it, but I'm not going to go deep into this because again, this is a little bit of a out of the expectations. All right, so this is called the go-to market. The go-to market is your dream client. So let's say that you are let's say that let's say that you have a business idea that is already available in the market. You're not the first ones. So I would say you're in the red ocean. You have to acknowledge what's the unique mechanism that you can approach your target audience, such as identifying how to reach them. For example, let's say you want to have a education with technology fused together. You want to propose that to someone, but obviously you need some market validation first. So this is the first place you want to stop by. It's called the go-to market. Maybe you can reach out to maybe master students or PhD students with kids, and maybe you can test it out on them. Maybe give them a low price, maybe give them a freebie, free trial, stuff like that. So the go-to market is easy for you to reach, I suppose, because this is supposed to be your dream client, and this is going to be your more or less like market validation. And competitor analysis. So this is when you show all your competitors the advantage you have over them. So with that go-to market, with the market validation as well, you can actually analyze on how you can say that you are better than them in certain ways, and this is why. So again, if you have no competitors, it means you have no market at all. So if you are one of the first ones to propose such an idea, then it might be risky for you, but I guess it's worth a try. Okay, so again, this is what called blue ocean strategy. So blue ocean means you have 0 to 3 competitors available in the market. So you're on the first early adopters, I would say. The red ocean is for someone in a market where you have 3 or more competitors. Okay, financial and key metrics. So this one is again a bit out of the scope, but in case you might want to include this, I'm just gonna go through it a little bit anyway. So if you dive into your current and projected financial summaries, metrics, user growth, revenue, profit, cost, what are the conversion rates? So conversion rates means, let's say if I do 3 services in terms of haircutting. Let's say I'm gonna open up a salon. If I cut 3 persons hair for this amount of time, how much can I get? That's like the conversion rate. What do you get in a certain amount of time? What are the quantification for it? So that's the easiest term, I would say. Okay, so achievements and milestones. It is best to use marketing testing results, but if this is not applicable for you, if you do not have the time to market test, then this can be just voided. All right, so milestones. Any unique mechanisms? What are you offering that others are not? Maybe the price is different. Okay, so again, referring to the blue ocean and the red ocean strategy, if you have less than 3 competitors, you are in blue ocean. So in terms of marketing, you might want to highlight the benefits first and then the feature later. And if you are in the red ocean, which means you have more than 3 competitors, you might want to highlight the unique mechanism first and then benefits later. So that way, your product will stand out a little bit more. Okay, so the 11th slide, I suppose, is called the team. So this is when you're going to highlight your teams. You can have pictures, let's say 5 members here, the names and the titles. So usually in a hackathon, I would recommend people doing in 4 or maybe 5 if that's available. Right, so developers, designer, and pitcher. You want to have a pitcher, because if you can't have someone who pitches the project for you or someone who pitches quite poorly, you might not get the recognition you deserve, because it's more like the face, the brains, or more like that. And this is more on the body, more or less, designer. Okay, so you might want to figure that things out between yourselves. And then depending if you are looking for investors or fundraising, this is called the ask. So you might want to break it into 4 different buckets, which is salary, operational, marketing, and technology. But overall, this is usually not applicable for hackathons. But if you do this, then you're on another level. Okay. The last but not least is called the contact slide. So usually people will create a temporary Gmail or something like that and attach it here. So you might want to have your company name, phone number, emails. Just one person is enough, as well as the Gmail. If you have a website or a landing link, then that's cool as well. And for Appendix, if you have anything important that you want to share, but you don't have I would say, the specific category for it, then I suppose you can do that as well. And that is all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Aliaa. So now is the Q&A session. If you guys have any question to ask for Aliaa, kindly drop down your question in the chat box on your right. Okay. So
Okay.
thank you for
Interesting.
thank you again for sharing how to actually solid or structure our project from our scratch idea, and also how to form up a team in a hackathon itself. Yeah,
All right.
I think that this information actually is very useful for our participants here today. It's like teaching them how to actually pitch out their ideas to all the public or their friends itself. Yeah. Now we have a question from our audience here. So he asked about you mentioned about identifying whether a product would fit a market. How would I implement the same concept in a hackathon where I have a limited time? What's your advice?
Okay, one of the ways that you can identify whether your product fits a market is to first identify your target audience. Such, let's say that you are targeting, let's say, testers only, because your product is about like, okay, for example, I'm using my example is machine learning to help predict fault predictions, right? So my target is testers or quality assurance people. So I would provide I would curate some questions, maybe 5 to 15, depending on how lengthy I want it or how detailed I want it to be, and ask them regarding that in terms of an interview. I think it's better to have it in an interview. Um, you can interview about 5 people more or less, depending on how much time you have, and from there maybe you can like see how well accepted they are in terms of your product, like how is their reaction towards your product, and if they can suggest something that even better or maybe tweak it a little bit in terms of their with their own experience, I think that'd be really awesome. So yeah, that's one of the things I can think of as of now.
Okay, thank you.
All
I
right.
think I think that's all for our today's sessions. If you guys have more questions to ask Alia, you can also reach Alia after the session in our Discord channel as well. Thank
All
you
right,
and have
thank
a nice
you.
day.
You too, bye bye.
Bye bye.